Hello YouTube, and welcome to an idea I've been wanting to do for a while. My first ever tier list video. Now I've played other games in the past, and I've seen people content creators do tier lists for the games they play. And I've never looked it up, but I've never seen anyone do a Phasmophobia tier list video. So I thought, let's do it and see what we can do. So the first tier list we're going to be doing today is a ghost tier list. And it's going to be based on how scary the ghost is in Phasmophobia. So S tier is going to be super scary, the most scary ghost you can get. When I have it in the game, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm scared. This is the worst situation. To E tier, which is like easy game, nothing to be worried about. So we're going to be going through all the ghosts, all 24 ghosts, one by one. I might rearrange it later on in the video if I think maybe it's not in the right spot. And yeah, we're going to start off with, you know what, we'll start with a Banshee. Now, Banshee. I'm going to put Banshee in A tier. Now, you're probably wondering why. Banshees surely aren't that scary. Well, they kind of are. Banshees have this thing, and this is the thing that scares me the most, where they can spawn directly on you. And that's got to be one of the scariest. Now, I'm tempted to even put it in S tier, but I'm going to stick with A tier right now. That might be one of the scariest things a ghost can physically do. Spawning on you. I mean, the amount of times I've had Banshees spawn like a foot away from me or or on top of me and I've died is crazy. And when I do have a Banshee, I'm thinking in my head, oh my gosh, I need a crucifix on my body. This thing can spawn on me at any moment. Because what the Banshees do is they wander to you. And then they wander back to their room. So they can technically spawn in their room or on top of you, which is just terrifying. So I think Banshee's an easy A tier. I might move it around depending on the other ghost rankings. The next ghost we have is a demon. Now, in terms of scariness, when I first started playing, I would have put this straight in S tier. I am actually tempted. To put this also in A tier. A demon. Now, obviously, demons can spawn as soon as you enter the house, and that is scary, of course. However, because of the speed of the ghost, I've never really been in a situation where I can't escape a demon off the bat. Like, it normally takes maybe like maximum, I think, 15-20 seconds into the game, and by then I'm probably in a position where I can react and hide. And because they're normal speed ghosts as well, they are scary for the reason because they're the only ghosts that can spawn at any moment at any sanity, which is their ability. But they aren't that fast, so I'm not gonna lie, I think A tier is probably where it's gonna sit for now. Yeah, just generally on the speed. Obviously, they are scary with the spawning at any moment situation, and also the fact that they can spawn only a minute to a minute 30 after an incense, and they can spawn between 20 and 25 seconds after they try and hunt you beforehand. So yeah, that is scary, but it's not S tier scary. Like, S tier's got to be the worst. And I've already got an idea of what's going in S tier. So next ghost we're going to be talking about is a Dio. I'm going to put a Dio in D tier. Now, I would put it in E tier, but the fact that, especially for new players, this can be quite scary, especially if you have no incense. If you have no incense, Dio's going in B tier, if not A tier. But if you've unlocked incense, it's a D tier ghost. When you have a Dio, I mean, you've probably seen me if you've watched any of my other videos or streams. When I get a Dio, I'm 360 chucking my incense at this ghost whilst training it around a table. This ghost is super, super slow when it's close to you and is very, very not intimidating at all. Like, it obviously, it's intimidating when it first spawns because it just absolutely pelts it towards you and always knows where you are. However, obviously, when the Dio gets close, it becomes snail pace, and you can literally just crawl away from the thing. It's, what, 0.3 meters a second or something ridiculous like that. It's so slow, and I just meme it. I meme Dios. As long as you got incense, because the only reason why Dios could be scary is if you're cornered in a corridor or something. That's the only way where I'd be like, yeah, awful, and you don't have incense on you. That's a situation where I'd be like, yeah, Dios are the worst, because they'll know where you are as well. But yeah, generally, if you're if you're at a point of the game where you've got incense and you kind of understand, if you know it's a Dio, you're fine. If you don't know it's a Dio, then it can be scary without incense. Yeah, so Dio's a solid D tier. Goryos, you know what? Goryos are just normal ghosts. Like, Goryos are normal ghosts. They don't change rooms. So they're pretty... once you found the room and you know it's a Goryo, you're pretty safe. They don't really wander. So I'm also going to put it in line on D tier. Maybe C tier for now, actually. Just because in a hunt it is normal speed and it has line of sight. So I think a Goryo C tier. I might move it to D tier later on. But yeah, there's nothing really much more to say about Goryos. Obviously, they only show themselves on dots in a camera. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Goryos. They're just normal speed ghosts. Next, we have a Hantu. Now, I'm going to put Hantu in B tier. Hantus are very fast in the room where they spawn. So if you are in the room with them, or you haven't got the breaker on, and the temperature in the house is cold, it can be very scary. They're fast in cold. They're not crazy fast, like Raiju around electronics fast, but they're not far off. They are fast in cold. So if you are in the room with it, when it spawns, that's pretty scary because it will just speed towards you. However, obviously, if you're in a room far away and it spawns, then it's pretty slow, actually, in the warm rooms that you're around, especially if you've got the breaker on. But the fact that they can be fast and faster than normal ghosts puts it above a Goryo. But yeah, I wouldn't put it in A tier like a Banshee or a Demon, of course. I think we'll stick to B tier for Hantu. And the fact that it's slow, obviously, and warm means, yeah, I don't really think it can go to A tier for scariness. And yeah, that's pretty much... I don't think there's really much else I do for Hantu. And also, it doesn't have line of sight, so it won't speed up. If you're in warmth, it won't speed up. So you won't get line of sight increase, which means that you're probably going to be safe training it as long as you're away from a cold room. So yeah, Hantu's B tier. Again, might move it, but for now, I think it's a solid B tier. Next, we have a Jinn. Now, I kind of want to put it in B tier, but I'm going to put it in C tier for now. I do think it's slightly scarier to get than a Goryo, because of course it does speed up at a distance, but then it does slow down to normal speed when it's close. So it can be scary as soon as you see it, and it's as long as you're quite far away, it can be quite scary when it just instantly speeds up. Obviously, when the breaker's on, that's the only time it can do this. Which is also why I'm putting it in C tier, because when the breaker's off, it can't even use this ability, and it's the same as a Goryo. I'd say it's kind of, if there was a B, C tier, I'd put it in between. But yeah, I think a Jinn, they're not really that scary. I mean, the instant speed up can be, but it's... So basically what happens is a Jinn will just wander. Let's say you're on one side of the house and you see it on the other side. It will be instantly fast, and then it will get to you and slow down a bit, but then it will start speeding up because it has line of sight speeds. So yeah, I don't know, but when the breaker's off, it can't do that, so it's just a normal ghost. So I kind of want to put it in B tier. I'll put it in B tier, but it's a low B tier, I'd say, actually. Or a high C tier. I'm going to put it in a low B tier. You know, I might put it on that side just to say that it's not as scary as a Hantu. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Next, we have a Mare. Now, Mares are pretty scary ghosts. In the dark, they can be pretty active, and they can also hunt you at higher sanity. I think it's 60%, I believe, in the dark. So, but they are normal speeds. The feeling I get when I get a Mare is probably worse than a Goryo. So I don't think I can put it in a C tier. I think I'm going to have to put it in a B tier. Maybe between Jinn and Hantu. Just because they can hunt you at a higher sanity. They can hunt you at about 60% in the dark. And also, they just mess with the lights. Which is, they can mess with the lights more than other ghosts. Like, break them. And they also are scary because they keep changing rooms if the lights are on. Which is really annoying because they're really hard to spot, and then you don't know where it is, and then it might spawn in a different room. So I think I can't put Mare on the same level as a Goryo. I think I'm going to put it in between Jinn and Hantu. I don't think I can put it... I don't think I can put it on the same level as a Goryo, and I think a Jinn is slightly less scary because it's... You know, it's quite easy to work out a Jinn as well. Turn off the breaker. Mares are pretty hard to work out. But we'll do another tier list in terms of how hard it is to identify. But for now, Mare, scariness, B tier. Moroi. So the thing is with a Moroi is if you work out the ghost early, they're not scary. However, they are, if you're playing on 0% sanity off the bat, they are the fastest ghost in the game. They are the fastest ghost in the game at 0% sanity. However, if you very rarely get to the point where they do get that sanity, but they do have line of sight speed, and they are naturally fast. So I'm going to have to put it, because by the time you found a Moroi, you're probably at a medium to low sanity anyway. So I might have to put it in an A tier, but not as bad as a Banshee or a demon. Like, I don't get as scared with a Moroi as I do with a Banshee and a demon. So I think a solid A tier, low A tier, probably from Moroi. Obviously, at 0% sanity, if you're playing 0% sanity, it's S tier. It's the worst. It's constantly fast without line of sight. So yeah, I think for now I'm going to keep it at A tier, because I'm basing this on just a normal game, like a normal, like, let's say a professional Nightmare kind of standard game. So you start on 100% sanity. So I say Moroi is A tier. Myling is probably C tier. I'm going to put it in C tier. Mylings are normal ghosts in speeds, in hunts. They hunt at normal percent sanity, and they do change rooms. So I'm going to say it's slightly worse than a Goryo. So basically, the further right I put it, the more scary it is in that tier. But yeah, Mylings, I'd say, are a little worse than Goryos because you can't really hear them. Like, the ghost might just suddenly come around the corner and you wouldn't really realize, oh gosh, it's close to me right now. So it can surprise you in that way. So I'd say Myling's scariness probably in C tier, but just above a Goryo. That's pretty much where I stick a Myling. There's not really much more to say about that. Now, Obake is the same. I honestly, Obake I'm gonna have to put above Goryo because it doesn't change rooms. Sorry, it does change rooms and a Goryo doesn't. But I have to say, I actually get excited when I get an Obake. Like, I want to see the shapeshift. I want to see maybe the 6-finger handprint, or the 2-finger fingerprint. So actually, I don't really feel scared when I get an Obake, or an Obake, as people would call it. I don't like calling it that. I call it an Obake. I'd say it's more scary than a Goryo because it can change rooms, but I'd say it's not as scary as a Myling because you can hear it. It's a completely normal ghost in a hunt, and it's kind of got some cool features. I mean, when I say normal ghost in a hunt, in terms of speed, percentage sanity that it hunts you, and it's got line of sight speed, but it's pretty cool to get in hunt. I love getting an Obake in a hunt. Like, seeing that shapeshift is sick. But I guess it can be, and another reason I put it above Goryo is because you could get a crawler ghost, like it turning into a crawler, and then you might mistake it for a phantom, and that could be a bit scary. So yeah, above a Goryo, but C tier, not above Myling. Oni, Gemini, you, my friends, are going in A tier. I have to put an Oni in A tier. Now, I'm basing this off of scariness. Now, Onis in a hunt are normal, apart from they are more visible. So if anything, they are better in a hunt because you can see them more often. However, Onis, of course, if you understand Onis, they love doing ghost events. And this is a tier list based on scariness. Onis are scary ghosts, man. Like, you walk into the house, you get evented on like 3 times. Like within a couple minutes, you know, that tends to be what happens. And they drain 20% sanity, and then they hunt you early for that reason. If you do get hit by it, by the ghost event, then you lose 20% sanity instead of 10. So Oni, I'm gonna have to put an A tier. Now, I don't know if I can put it above a Moroi, because I'm basing this off of professional and nightmare games, and they are more visible in hunts. So hunt wise, they are better. But in terms of scariness, obviously, they are pretty scary. I wouldn't be as scared of an Oni. Once I know it's an Oni, I wouldn't be as scared because I know it's pretty normal in a hunt. If anything, good in a hunt because it's normal speed, has line of sight, but it's more visible. So I'm going to put it below a Moroi, but it's going to be an A tier in terms of scariness for sure. Oreo. Now, Oreos can hunt you technically at any sanity if you blow out 3 firelights. Now, I do get excited when I get an Oreo because the Oreo test will happen. However, do I put it in C tier? I think I'm going to put it in C tier. I'm going to put it above a Myling just for the fact that it can hunt you at any sanity. I've actually had a pretty mad Oreo recently that was going a bit crazy. I would say, yeah, for the reason that it can hunt you at any sanity, an Onryo has to go on C tier. I'm gonna have to put an Onryo in C tier, but because of the fact that it can hunt you at 100% sanity if it blows that 3 firelights, and if you don't have a crucifix on you, that's not good. And they're also pretty hard to find sometimes, especially if you don't have candles. It's pretty rough. So I'd say, yeah, Onryo C tier. They're completely normal in hunts, but they can hunt you at any sanity. So I'm gonna have to put it probably above a Myling. Do I put it below Myling actually? Because of the way it hunts, I'm gonna put it actually below a Myling, but above an Obake. But yeah, I think an Onryo is a solid C tier. It's not really that scary, but it can hunt you at any sanity. Next ghost we're talking about is a Phantom. Scariness. Now, Phantoms can roam to you, which can be a little bit off-putting and scary. And they are the scariest, in my opinion, ghost to train in a hunt. I'm going to have to put it. It's a very tempting C tier, S tier, sorry. Oh, can I put a Phantom above a Demon? I feel like I can. I'm going to base it. That's going to be my first S tier. I'm going to base it on the fact that Phantoms are terrifying in hunts. I get very close, if not do die, quite often to Phantoms in hunts. Like, when I know it's a Phantom, I get scared in hunts. I'm like, oh my gosh, this ghost, I'm not going to be able to tell where it is. I'm going to have to use my ears. It can literally show itself, disappear. You're like, right, it's coming around this corner. And then suddenly, no, it switched directions. It was right in front of you. That is terrifying. I hate getting Phantoms in hunts. So I think I have to put it in an S tier. I think it's more scary than these ghosts in terms of hunts. Obviously, this is only when it gets to a hunt. In a normal scenario, it's not actually that scary, like when you're just looking for the ghost. But man, they scare me, man. Phantoms scare me. I'm putting it in S tier. This is personally what I find very scary, and Phantom is scary. Poltergeist. Now, Poltergeist, I don't find scary. They're normal ghosts in hunts, apart from they chuck loads, which I think is quite cool. They do have, obviously, their Poltiplosion. I would say a Polty is a C tier, and I wouldn't say it's as scary as I'm going to put it above an Onryo, but below a Myling, because I don't get scared with Polties in hunts. In fact, if anything, I get excited because seeing all that stuff gets chucked around is really cool. But obviously, you can hear it from a distance, and a Myling you can't. So Mylings can be a bit off-putting in that way. Yeah, I'd say Polties there. I actually kind of get excited for Polties. I wouldn't say they're very scary. They just throw a lot, and that's cool, in my opinion. I like seeing that happen. That's everything to say about Polty, really. I put it above an Onryo, just because the Poltiplosion can catch you off guard sometimes, and sometimes it can just chuck knives at you really hard. So yeah, there we go. Poltergeist in C tier. Next we have a Raiju. Now you might be surprised here where I put this. I'm putting this in A tier. And I'm gonna put it. Oh, no, I'm putting it below an Oni, but it's gonna be in A tier. I hate Raijus. Raijus recently at like pretty high level gameplay, I'd say, not to toot my own horn, have done me in so many times recently. I've thought it's a Thaye recently. Oh my gosh, I lost a 13 game no evidence win streak because of a Raiju recently, because I thought it was a Thaye. The thing is, Raijus are very fast around electronics, right? And electronic range for a Raiju is huge. I think it's too big. Like, it will run past the camera and it will keep running for like 4 more meters and it will still be that speed, because the radius on these electronics is huge. And I've been played by Raiju so much recently, I find them scary. I do find them scary. They're not as scary as Onis because they don't do as many events as Oni. Onis are by far the most evented ghost in the game, in my opinion. Demons can, I'd say, be pretty close. But yeah, Raiju's scary, man. Like, around electronics, really fast. You generally have quite a lot of electronics in anyway. And they do actually have line of sight speed away from electronics as well. So yeah, definitely more scary than Hantus. Because they don't go slow, they go normal speed away from electronics, and they have line of sight speed. Hantus are slow away from cold temperatures, and they don't have line of sight speed. So yeah, Raiju's definitely going in A tier. Revenant. Ooh, a lot of people's, by the way, least favorite ghost, like most scary ghosts. Revenant, I think. Now the thing is, they can completely catch you off guard. If you don't know if it's a Revenant and you get hunted, and you're standing in the open, you're dead. So for that reason, I feel like I have to put it in A tier. I actually am going to put it below Raiju, because if you're hiding, you can get a Revenant in one hunt. The hunt happens, you're like, it's a Revenant. If you hide, they are the least scary ghosts. If you are visible or the ghost can sense you, the most scary ghost, of course, because it just goes from 0 to 100 like that. I wouldn't say Revenant is S tier though, because when you hide, which a lot of people will do, or even if you just crouch behind anywhere, which is technically hiding, if you don't have line of sight speed, they aren't scary and you can just slowly walk away from them. If they're miles away, you can just run around and do what you want, and they probably won't even get to you. However, if you do see them, they can be very scary. So I would say A tier, but I wouldn't actually say they're as scary as people make them out to be. Shades. This is got to be an S. I'm joking. It's an E tier, of course. I mean, do I even have to say much about this? They can't hunt you till 30% sanity. They do nothing like the whole game. They can't interact. They can't ghost event in the room with you. Like, literally so annoying. They're the most boring, annoying, least scary ghost ever. Nothing else to really say. Next ghost, spirits. Now, I actually feel like spirits... Now, I don't actually know if it's true, but I feel like spirits can be pretty, like, aggressive. I don't know if they are turned up in that sense, but I think spirits can be pretty scary. They can change rooms. They are normal speeds in hunts. I actually am going to put it in C tier. Can I put it in B tier? On the same as a Jinn, Mare, and Hantu? Maybe a B tier. Maybe a very low B tier. I've actually found spirits can be quite intimidating. Yeah, they just seem to go... I've found personally, and I don't know whether this is placebo effect, but I feel like they are pretty aggressive, pretty scary. They seem to do more events, I think, than normal ghosts, from my experience, but I don't think they're that bad. And then, but the other thing is, and the reason why I can't put it above a Jinn, is because if you incense it can't hunt you for 3 minutes, which is so long. So that's not very scary about a spirit. Like, I'll incense it and I'll be like, I've got 3 minutes to go search the whole house for bone, or to set up my equipment. So yeah, it's going to be low B tier, if not high C tier. I'm going to keep it on B tier for now. Next, we have a Thaye. Now, I very rarely get an aged Thaye. I almost always get hunted early on by a Thaye, and it's terrifying. I have to put Thaye in S tier, probably above Phantom. I think so far, Thaye is probably the scariest ghost we have had. So the thing is, I did say this was going to be professional and nightmare modes, but when you go from nightmare to insanity, as soon as you do have a Thaye on insanity mode, it can hunt you straight away, and it is so scary because it's instantly rapid. Like, it will just be fast without line of sight the whole time, and it's really intimidating. And when I walk into a house and I get instantly, I hear the lock sound go, and then I hear bum 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 bum, terrifying. So I think a Thaye has to go in S tier for that reason. However, of course, Thayes can be really slow, but honestly, I think I've had a Thaye, an aged Thaye, maybe twice in the entire time I played. Like, they always seem to just attack you at high sanity. So yeah, and unless you're playing on like professional nightmare and you start on 100% sanity, if you find the room and you sit in the room for ages whilst that sanity is draining, the Thaye's going up in age, and then it gets to 75% sanity, and then it hunts you, but it's already aged, you're probably going to be like, it might still be a bit fast at that point. It usually would be, but after that, if you put a crucifix down, and it tries to hunt you twice, and you're sitting in the room, and it's aging even more, it's not intimidating at the end of the hunt. Sorry, at the end of the game. But at the start, it can be horrible. So yeah, S tier for Thaye. Now we have, oh, you know what? I'm actually gonna go for a Yurei first. Yureis aren't scary ghosts. They're just annoying ghosts. I'm saying Yurei is probably, yeah, between an Obake and a, you know what? Yurei's going to go there, actually, above an Obake, C tier. The reason being, Obakes, obviously, they get shapeshifts in hunt. Yurei's are just annoying to find. And now this isn't obviously based on that. This is based on scariness. And Yurei's are more scary because you can't work out what they are as easily, if that makes sense. Unless you get like a Yurei ability where a door fully closes in double door touch, fully closed door, they're just really annoying to find. And for that reason, I'd say they're a little bit more scary because Obake's are a lot more easy to identify. They're normal ghosts though. Like Yureis have nothing about them in hunts. They're normal speed, normal line of sight, normal. They hunt you at 50-55% sanity. So yeah, Yurei's a C tier for me. Nothing interesting about Yurei's. We'll do Mimic at the end. Next we have a Yokai. Now Yokai's I'm gonna have to put Yokai's above a spirit and between a Jinn. Yokais are normal in hunts. However, they can hunt you at, I believe, 80% sanity if you speak to it in the room. And yeah, for that reason, I think a Yokai has to go in B tier. I wouldn't say above a Jinn just because the way it hunts is normal. And it's just normal speed. But the fact that you can speak to it and then it hunt you really early on is a scary thing about a Yokai. I get scared sometimes about using the spirit box in the room with it. So yeah, I think a Yokai is a solid B tier above spirits. They normal like ghost events, normal interactions like an Obake and a Goryo and Myling, etc. But yeah, I'd say Yokai is a solid B. Next we have the twins. Ooh, now the twins. Oh, I'm gonna put the twins. Ooh, now I think they're gonna have to be an A tier. I think I'm gonna put them between an Oni and a Moroi. Maybe even above a Moroi. Yeah, I think maybe here. I don't like twins. Twins can just seem to spawn 2 different rooms, which can completely catch you off guard. One of them is faster than a normal ghost, so that's also quite scary. I also find twins really hard to work out sometimes. They also are hard to work out because, one, the speed isn't that different to normal speed. It's just slightly higher or slightly slower. They're slightly faster or slightly slower than normal speed ghosts. But also, it can interact all around the house, and you can't work out where the ghost is, and it gets you really annoying, and you get scared, and you're like, oh my god, where is this ghost? And then in a hunt, it has line of sight speed, as well as being a different speed to normal ghosts. So you've got like, the only time you can work out the twins via the speed is when it doesn't know where you are. So you have to hide and listen and be like, right, that sounds slightly slower, or right, that sounds slightly faster. And then if it's the faster ghost, it's really scary as well, because not only is it fast, but then it also has line of sight speed. So it gets faster and faster as well. So yeah, twins, I think actually, I find them quite scary. So I'm going to put them in A tier, just below Banshee. Just for the fact they don't spawn on you, but they can spawn in like different spots, and that's intimidating. Next we have a Wraith. Now, if I know it's a Wraith, then normally I find Wraiths really early game because I put Salt down early game and I work out it's a Wraith. However, Wraiths are a little bit scary because they are one of the only 2 ghosts like a Banshee that can spawn directly on you. However, I've never had that happen. I've actually never had a Wraith spawn on me. So therefore, I don't really get that scared of Wraiths because I find them so early on. So yeah, I don't know. I actually think I'm going to put it, for the fact it can spawn on you, I'm going to put it above a Mare, but below a Hantu. Because they are normal in hunts, normal speeds, normal line of sight, everything, but they can spawn on you. So that being said, I have to put it in B tier. I'm not going to put it in A tier. It's not like a Banshee spawn on you, because normally Banshee's a normal speed, but the Banshee spawning on you thing is I've found has happened to me a lot. Wraiths not so much because I find them so early game. So yeah, yeah, Banshees I'm staying in A, Wraith will stay in B. Now, finally, you know what? Actually, Moroi. Do I put Moroi slightly higher? And I'm kind of thinking Moroi and Revenant. Do I move them up? Revenant more scary? I think Revenant. Scariness. No, I will keep them here for now. But we're finally getting to the final ghost, a Mimic. Now, this to me is hands down the scariest ghost in the game. And you're probably thinking, why? Why would a Mimic be the scariest? Because it can be any of these ghosts. Like, when I find out it's a Mimic, I get scared straight away. I'm like, oh my god, this ghost could become a Thaye. It could just start speeding at me early game. It could do a demon spawn on me. It could be a Shade, and then it could become a Raiju, and then it'll be rapid in the room with all my electronics in. You don't know what to expect with Mimics. They are the scariest, in my opinion. They switch ghosts every like 30 seconds to 2 minutes. So it could be a Shade, and then it could suddenly turn into a young Thaye and just attack you. It could just start chucking loads of stuff and do a polty. It can do any ghost ability, which is terrifying. It could be a phantom in a hunt. It could be a revenant in a hunt. You know, they are the scariest ghosts. When I know it's a mimic, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get out now. Because I don't know what this is going to become. So yeah, I think a mimic has... I knew before I was going to make this the scariest ghost, but mimic is easily the scariest ghost in the game for me. And let me think, is there anything I'd switch here? Yokais... I don't know, maybe a yokai is more scary than a mare. I might move a mare below these two. Because a mare can hunt you at 60% sanity in the dark, but a yokai can hunt you at, I believe, 80% sanity. Forgive me if I'm wrong. So I'm going to put a yokai there. Anything else I can switch? I still think banshees are scary, man. Like, I need to have a crucifix on me with banshees. That does scare me. Demons obviously are scary, but I do think phantoms are more scary in hunts. Revenants can be really scary, but also can be not very scary at all. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep it like that. And that is my scary ghost tier list. I hope you enjoyed. I've got loads of different tier list ideas coming up. But for now, I'm very happy with how these are placed. And yeah, I don't think I'd change anything. I'm very happy with that. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like. Feel free to subscribe for more tier lists and loads of other Phasmophobia content. And yes, love you all. Have a great rest of your evenings, or days, or mornings, wherever time it is for you. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.